The goal is we are in service to two groups of people. It's the consumers and our advertisers. And we know to have them both be successful, we have to keep in mind that, I always say to, a lot of the young people that start with us, I say, what do we sell here? And inevitably they start talking about Bravo or NBC, and I will correct them and say, no, we don't. What we sell is toothpaste, we sell autos, we sell the products that our consumers or our advertisers are selling. So we have to keep that in mind. And part of that process is to evolve the consumer experience of watching live primetime television into a better experience, because we know that they have an immense amount of options to be able to watch television, and the days of 42 minutes of content and 18 minutes of interruption are going to have to be behind us if we want to continue to make this ad sales ecosystem continue to be healthy. So our focus really started 2 years ago in terms of improving the ad performance of our different properties, and the first step was cutting down the ad load on our digital properties, which we cut that by 35% a couple years ago, and then obviously our announcement last year where we cut 10% more out of our top 50 shows across 8 of our different networks to continue to try to make that experience as great as possible, because we know if we make the consumer experience great, the ad performance will increase, and we've already started to see that with some of our work around the prime pods that we have in prime time.
And what about sports? You're somewhat constricted, I guess, in breaks, but what about ad load in sports?
We've tried some different things to try to be it, and you're right. There are some restrictions in terms of that, but our sports group did a really unique thing with where in hockey, when a puck is iced and we have the transition before the next face-off, of having a drop-in ad in that period of time as they do it. So it's in the flow of the sport, it's not disruptive, and it actually has performed really well for us. So we're testing new formats on that, because we understand that when we come up with an idea, and we can't just assume that it's going to work. So much like any digital company is, we're out testing and learning from all of these different integrations to make sure that what we're doing is working for, again, the consumer as well as the advertiser.
And tell us about the relevance of serving ads to the right people, targeting groups. We hear a lot about addressable. Of course, your audience targeting. Tell us sort of where that stands now and where you hope it goes.
Yeah, that one started 2 years ago, where we did this segmentation, and we worked with Magid, and we created a tool called the content code. And it started really in primetime television, because we wanted to figure out not only why people were coming to our shows, but what mood they were in when they were watching the show. And then we layered on top of that as what ads perform best within that. So that was a great first step of what it was putting the right tone of the right ad in the right show. We saw the brand metrics jump. Then this year we're taking that a step further with our AI product, with being able to now target all the way down to the scene level an actual content piece that would be, let's say, someone having breakfast, and from an AI standpoint, we're actually able to serve a serial ad that would come in that A-pod position afterwards, because our goal is to make the advertising as effective as possible, and we know that it does two things. It works for the brand metrics, and it also helps with retention, making sure people stay with it, because we know when we're at our best is we deliver the best content to the right people, the right time, and contextually, whether it's within the right show contextually or whether it's using IP with our shows, we want to make sure of that, because the viewer likes that, and the metrics prove that out.
And what's the point of view of advertisers? And there are many different, and there's agencies and there's brands, and what are their expectations, and how are they responding to this sort of shorter ad load and other changes that you have going on there?
When we first brought out the ad load, everyone was, very excited about prime pods where it was, but there was some pushback in terms of there were some cost discussions that came with that. But I give a lot of credit to the advertisers and the agencies in that they understand that TV is the best performing medium out there. If we don't keep it healthy and we fail to really protect the ad sales ecosystem, it will no longer provide that lift for brands that we need. And if it's the best performing metric out there and TV is better than some of the social ones out there in terms of driving actual purchase intent, we have to keep it healthy, and it's upon all of us. So I do give credit to the advertisers and agencies who stepped up and recognized if we don't change, it won't be here long term. From a performance standpoint across our company, this is something that has grown tremendously, and a lot of that came through our DR side of the business, where you would have a lot of the brands like a Peloton, for example, that were coming to us, that were dipping their toe into television. And as television started to work more, they started to grow and started to come in through our national side of our business. And what we've seen is TV has really worked, and the VAB did some work around this as well, showing that there are a lot of these brands that came in as challenger brands that have really grown up, and you can see they kind of level off in that performance metrics, and once they kind of level off, they turn to TV, and when TV then supercharges their brand, and Peloton's a great example of seeing what happened, and they talk, in terms of how it really influenced their brand as soon as they went on television.